I bet Lawrence Fishburne like fine leather goods. If I could, I'd curl up next to him with my in his and let him me to sleep. He'd wake me up with in bed, but that would make me sleepy all over again, so we'd go for a walk. We'd stop to look at the sun on the lake, because of course there's a lake nearby, and he'd wrap me in his arms, his chest against my back, and I'd feel more alive than ever before. Hi, I'm Nichole.
And I'm Bim.
And this is Thirst Aid Kit.
So this week, Nichole.
Yes. You don't like the word.
I really, truly hate the word because I use it in a very, very different context.
Right. I understand.
Listen, if that's the vernacular of the time, then we have to use the vernacular,
Exactly.
even though I truly, viscerally hate it for this context. Please go ahead and tell the lovely listeners what we're discussing on this week's episode.
This week we are talking about zaddies. Daddy. We are talking about some men who have aged like fine wine.
Amen.
Oh, they are just delectable.
Won't he do it?
And then we're going to have friend of the show, Fairy Pot Mom, Tracy Clayton, come on to talk about one of the zaddies in particular. I'm just going to keep saying zaddy.
I'm scratching at my legs. I hate that word so much. And as always, we are going to have what has become, I think, very much the audience's favorite segment.
Yeah.
Fanfic Wars. We're going to be writing travels about these zaddies. And as usual, you'll get to vote on your favorite. And this is the one week where I truly do not care if I win or lose because I am so... Oh, God, it's just a lot. It's a lot this week.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I guess we should get started.
Yep, let's do it. All right, Nichole. So
yes, I'm ready.
I can tell you have been biting your lip since we came into the studio, and I have just been like cringing myself inside out. I should say from the get-go, the reason why I do not like Zaddy or Daddy or whoever in like a context of, I suppose, attraction is because I call my father my lovely, feminist, smart, kind, perfect father. I call him Daddy or Dad, but more often than not Daddy. And so I know, yes, I am 35 years old and I call my father Daddy. I know.
Yes.
But it's not uncommon in many Nigerian households for you to call your parents Mummy and Daddy still, even when you're old and grown. So for me, Daddy is like... It's such a warm, it strikes up familial feeling of like, you know, joy and goodwill and happiness. And, but, you know, I feel secure because I love my father. My father loves me.
Right. But that's how your daddy is supposed to make you feel. I love it. Well, I don't call my father any kind of father name. I call him by his name. So I don't have any issues.
Well,
with
clearly,
that. Yes.
I think it's very, very apparent and will be apparent over the course of the episode that one of us has an issue with calling would-be romantic partners Daddy, and one of us doesn't. Nichole, will you give us your theory on what makes up a Zaddy?
Okay, so a zaddy.
Oh my God. Even the way your voice changes, a zaddy.
I mean, that's how you, listen, I may have used daddy as a term that does not reference a biological figure a few times in my day. I enjoy, it takes a very special set of skills to get a person.
All right, Liam Neeson.
To get a person to the point where they want to call you daddy. And so that includes being mature, responsible, also
good traits.
A good caretaker. He's making sure that you are protected in all the ways that he can protect you.
Okay, so I have to ask then, does that preclude younger men from being in the category of Zaddy or what? Because it feels like, I know that the people we're going to discuss today are all of a certain vintage, But I remember on an episode of Insecure
Mm-hmm.
where Tasha, the bank teller,
Right.
is having sex with Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
and she's very appreciative of his efforts,
Mm-hmm.
and she calls him Zaddy.
Mm-hmm. And he laughs at her.
What?
You said daddy with a Z?
You hate it?
No, I love it.
My key takeaway from that, beyond him laughing at her, was essentially kind of like, you know, the guy who plays Lawrence, that is Jay Ellis, he is quite a young man.
Right.
So does there need to be an abundance of years for you to be Zaddy, or can you be a young Zaddy?
You can be a young daddy. You can be a young daddy. And the reason why we get to the Z, I think it's because, you know, in the vernacular, people be like, Z, you know, and it's just like, how do you spell that? Because there's like this really blurred, you know, sound with the D, right? So people became Zam Zaddy.
Oh God.
No, you don't have to be of a certain age. Again, I think it's, you know, how
a state of mind.
A state of mind, how you carry yourself. And if you know, in this case of Insecure, if you're putting it down well enough. But also, to keep going back to that scene,
God.
I don't think Lawrence was putting it down well enough. I think she was trying to make him feel good.
Oh, so it's also kind of like a boost.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. I'm learning so much right now.
Yes.
Your eyes are lit up with the fervor of education. You're just kind of like, I've been called upon to share my wisdom.
I love talking about this because
Do you know what? It really fucking shows, mate.
Yes. I feel like I am like levitating.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So you don't have to be of a certain age, but it helps tremendously.
Tremendously, she
Yes.
said. Oh, okay. Okay, so let's begin our foray into the Zaddy section with let's start with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, come on, Lawrence Fishburne. Okay.
I love it. Yeah, come on. Okay, so Lawrence Fishburne for me. Where was the first place you saw Lawrence that you thought, oh, there it is?
Boys in the Hood. Yeah, he was Furious Styles.
What a great name, by the way.
A perfect name. He was Trey's father, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s father, and he was this very wise man. You know, he was breaking down gentrification to the boys,
which is always very attractive.
Right.
Like, smarts is a good thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and just trying to instill in them pride in their own communities and in their own self-worth and all this kind of stuff. So he was trying to, like, you know, uplift his community.
Trying to edify the
Yes,
race.
yes.
Good man.
And he had these little, what are those just tension balls called that he was rolling around in his hand. And he would just be sitting there working his hand and looking out the window like.
Your voice just took on like a weird tenor. Looking in his hands. Like, bitch, what?
Yes, because, I mean, you know, you see, you know, first of all, watching, you know, somebody use their hands, you know, in a,
I'm waiting to see where the sentence
I'm
goes.
trying to clean it up before it goes there.
Oh, God.
Because you're cutting your eyes at me already.
I'm not cutting anything. My eyes are closed. Please carry
no,
on.
but it's just really nice to see somebody doing something with their hands, right? Like being active with their hands. And
Right.
even though he's doing something that's supposed to be like a stress reliever of, you know, moving these metal balls.
There's something about metal balls that just sets me off.
I don't know what they're called. They're like,
You know, metal balls is fine.
okay,
Please.
yes. So he's like working these things around.
Stop!
I can't help it because like I see his hand and I just remember very clearly as a teenage girl watching this movie and seeing him move his hands like that, and it was hypnotic.
Mesmerizing.
And it was just like, wow, his hands must be really big to hold these,
Oh my God.
these two balls.
Oh, I need a shower again.
But also, like, he was very, he was stern, to use one of your favorite words.
I love a stern man. And I was thinking about him also in The Matrix.
I'm
Wait.
sorry.
Oh my God. Say it with your chest. You ever go night-night, Nichole? You ever go night-night? Watching him as Morpheus, who very easily could have kind of slipped into kind of like magical Negro like territory, but Lawrence Fishburne has such heft that I think he kind of sidestepped that very admirably. But Morpheus being this wise man who believes in the one, I mean the one in this case being Keanu Reeves, like I felt very, very satisfied as a thirsty person watching The Matrix. I was like, you know, Keanu to my left, Lawrence to my right, here I am stuck in the
Right.
middle with you. Like I felt very happy. I was very happy happy about that. But Lawrence Fishburne, I think he has this calm confidence that I think definitely comes. I mean, part of it does come with age, but I remember when he was a young man in School Days.
Yes.
And he had this swag
Yes.
to him.
Yes.
And now I can look back and say definitively, oh yeah, he definitely had it, but he also grew in it because it's so much more pronounced. Like he's such a confident. He has a great walk, by the way.
Yeah.
Just relaxed as fuck, right? Which already kind of puts you at ease. It just makes you kind of go, oh well, that dude knows where he's going. I didn't have to ask for directions. Like I'll just follow him.
Yeah.
So I remember watching him in The Matrix as Morpheus, and he's wearing like a lot of black, really nice suits. And the other thing about Lawrence Fishburne is when he was younger, he was quite slender.
Yeah.
And then he got bigger with age.
Yeah. He put on some grown man weight.
Grown man weight. And I remember thinking to myself, God, that really suits you. You just look so much more substantial. And that's very attractive to me. I like a big dude who looks like a big dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he has that.
Yeah, and even though he plays kind of a silly character on Blackish,
Yes.
and it's really nice to see him being funny because
I
he's
know.
often so serious
So
in his
stern.
always
Always.
in the roles that he plays. But to see him silly as the grandfather on Blackish, but he's still kind of like a player because they wove that into his character,
I love
right?
that. I love that.
He can't say no to the
Yeah.
ladies.
He has
and-
this past.
Yeah.
Where I think at one point it comes up that he slept with all of his ex-wife's friends.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why they broke up.
Yeah. But
Which
he's-
is awful, but also
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's just really funny to see his career trajectory, come back. It's to a place where he's just kind of like relaxed into himself on screen, and I really like his work.
Yeah, I love Lawrence. But let's move on to
Yes.
the next person, which is Mr. Jesse L. Martin.
Yeah.
Listen.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Listen.
I remember Jesse L. Martin singing on Ally McBeal, and he's an incredible singer. I mean, you just stare at him. You're mesmerized by him. And so on Ally McBeal, he sang Your Precious Love, which was a Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell duet with a woman who was in the audience, and they were like making kissy faces, and Ally McBeal was like hating or whatever.
Heaven must have sent you from above. Oh, heaven must have sent your precious love.
Jesse L. Martin did that. He did. And it set up the trajectory for him to be Marvin Gaye in a later film about Marvin Gaye's life.
Great casting, because he actually looks a lot like Marvin Gaye.
He does, and I think actually it's in post-production hell or something. It hasn't been released or something like that.
I keep seeing clips from it.
Yeah, the things that have leaked or whatever. But he has a really great singing voice. I think he was in Rent for a while.
He was.
Yeah.
He is a theater god. He is very, very talented. He's like one of those like real kind of threats. Like he's a great musician. He's a great actor, and he seems like he's a really great person.
Yeah,
which is wonderful.
I really came to love him on The Flash.
Oh my God.
And you know how I feel about The Flash?
I know how you feel about The Flash, and I also love The Flash.
Yes.
But I remember when I realized he was going to be playing Iris West's father, and I thought to myself, all right, I'm definitely going to watch this. I mean, I was going to watch it anyway because it's a superhero show on the CW. That's fine. But then when I realized he was the father, I remember thinking to myself, all right, let's settle into this armchair because I'm now going to watch the hell out of this. And can I just say, I understand, like I mentioned at the top of the episode, I love my father. My father loves me. I saw him recently. We had a really, lovely chat. I love my dad. But if for whatever reason there was ever a vacancy, Jesse L. Martin is such a great TV dad.
He is phenomenal.
Oh my God.
Joe West. I do not have a great relationship with my father.
Right.
But I want Joe West. I want this fictional character.
Yeah.
I'm really torn. Do I want him to be my daddy or do I want him to be my daddy? Like, I don't know. Because there was this one scene in a recent episode where Joe needed to go back to the house because something terrible was happening.
In a hurry.
Yeah. And so he talks to Barry and he's like, run me to the house. And Barry's like, I thought you told me you didn't want me to run you do that. And he was like, run me to the house. He got this bass in his voice.
Yes.
And then Barry was like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So then Barry, it was just a lot for me. Like, I didn't know who to give my attention to.
You sent me that clip and you said, I am Confucian.
Yes.
And America, explain yourself. What is this?
It was just a lot.
It was a lot. I watched that scene because you sent it to me. You recorded it and you sent it to me on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and much like yourself, I was like, do I fancy Grant Gustin? Do I fancy Jesse L. Martin? Do I fancy the both of them? I was caught in the middle. Also, Jesse L. Martin is a beautiful crier.
Yes. Come on, let's talk about that.
He's so sensitive looking. And then when he cries, you follow the path of that tear. And you're kind of like, how can I wipe this man's face? I don't want him to be sad. Also, in addition to being a great crier, he's a tremendous looking hugger.
Yes.
When he gathers Barry into his arms and holds him,
Yes.
I was like, oh.
That is a good ass hug.
I felt the warmth of it through the TV screen. It transmitted itself onto me. And I was like, man, it must be amazing to be hugged by Jesse L. Martin because it looks like you're just getting like sustenance.
And Jesse L. Martin is just, he's just flat out cute.
He's so handsome. He's beautiful looking, actually.
He looks almost the same as he did in Ally McBeal 20 years ago.
Right. He is the epitome of black don't crack, by the way. And besides the little tendrils of grey here and there, same face, unlined, just beautiful.
Oh, yes, Jesse L.
Jesse, man. Woof.
Well, let's move on to one of our diversity hires.
Oh my God, nice.
A Mr. Bruce Willis.
Oh, Bruce.
Whew,
Listen.
Okay. Now,
I fancy Bruce so much.
yes. Yes.
I mean, back then, now, in
Yes.
the future, he's just a consistent crush.
So I remember first paying attention to Bruce Willis, as
Yes.
many of us did,
Yes.
in the TV show Moonlighting.
Moonlighting, which, first of all, how the fuck is it not streaming somewhere?
I don't know.
I'm so angry.
People always reference Moonlighting when they talk about getting a will they, won't they couple together because Bruce Willis's character, David Addison, and Sybil Shepherd's character, Maddie Hayes, when they finally got together, the show went off the air within that same season, or there was a quick little season following that or something like that. But that's not really the case.
People kind of conflate a lot of stuff that wasn't because they got together. That's not what killed the show. The show
No.
was already in trouble, but
What
horribly.
killed the show was Bruce Willis's career was skyrocketing.
Right, he had like a whole movie thing and he was
Yeah.
living his best life, and that's fine. But I will say about Moonlighting and David Addison and Maddie Hayes and that will they, won't they, that push-pull. David Addison for me was perhaps, alongside Jeff Goldblum, one of the formative crushes of my childhood. Because for years later, I wouldn't realize why I liked guys who smirked until I thought, oh shit, that's because David Addison was a consistent smirker. Like, and the other thing about Moonlighting was the chemistry.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, that is one of the first TV shows where I could recognize, because obviously when I was watching it, I was very young, but what I could recognize what we call UST,
Yes.
the unresolved sexual tension.
There was so much of it.
There was so much of it,
cut it
and
like
it was
with a
just like
knife.
I would be watching television with my
Wrapped.
chin in my hands, like, oh my God, what's happening? Are they going to kiss now?
Right. And there is like a supremely great kind of clip that I found on on YouTube. And it's from Moonlighting, where David, played by Bruce Willis, and Maddie are speaking. And I want you to pay attention to the rat-a-tat-tat nature of their
Yes.
conversation, which, again, kudos to the writers, but also big kudos to the performers who killed it.
So, you want a raise?
It's been a year.
I think you're right.
Excuse me?
I don't think it's an unreasonable request.
You don't?
We've been together a year, you've worked hard. The truth is, I think you're entitled to more compensation.
Not to mention money.
I think you should get a raise.
I think I'm speechless.
So,
Yeah,
Oh,
so
gosh.
that's some old school banter. That
His
is like
Girl
some
Friday.
Cary Grant.
yes, Rosalind Russell.
Yes, that is some. It's perfect.
It's delicious. And the way he delivered those lines, it keeps you on your toes. Like,
Yes.
you're excited. You want to see
Yes.
what's going to happen. And then, of course, he had like Die Hard, which, again, oh my God, I have strong feelings.
Strong feelings.
I watched Die Hard at a very impressionable age. Maybe I was too young to watch Die Hard when I watched Die Hard. Who can tell? I just remember thinking to myself, what an action hero. Like,
yeah.
John McClane is so important for the cinematic language.
I am a sucker for men in t-shirts, a tank top, their their undershirts,
Yeah.
jeans, and bare feet.
Listen, and he does that in Die Hard.
God.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, I love Bruce Willis. I am so attracted to him. And then that's why I was so delighted when he turned up in Friends.
Oh, yes.
A little cameo
Yeah.
playing the father of one of Ross's girlfriends. And he is, again, I've mentioned this before, I'll mention it in the future. I enjoy a stern man. And we have a little clip from Friends. I love this so much. So basically, this is him meeting Ross for the first time. And obviously, the girls in the group of the Friends kind of seeing him and realizing that, oh, this is Ross's girlfriend's father.
Mr. Stevens, I'd like you to meet my friends. This is Phoebe, Monica, and Chandler.
So you're Elizabeth's father, huh? You can see now where she gets her rugged handsomeness.
Yes. First of all, Phoebe Buffet was, I mean, she's really like,
she's a thirst queen.
Yeah, and she was very confident in her thirst.
So confident. I aspire to be Phoebe Buffet. So yeah, Bruce Willis, God bless him, a childhood crush that kind of carried on well into adulthood.
Yeah.
And that's important because a lot of the people who are now zaddies are people that we began fancying many years hence.
Right. And we didn't see them, we didn't look at them in that way because we were children. We just knew.
Or young adults.
Yeah, exactly. There was definitely something to be said about how our thirst evolves over time from, you know, childhood, young adulthood into, you know, more mature levels.
Auntie levels.
And so we actually heard from one of our listeners and Twitter friends, Vina Bean. She left us a voicemail about Blair Underwood and how her thirst for him has intensified over the years. Let's listen to it.
Hi, this is Davina, and I am here to talk about my thirst for one Blair Underwood. My earliest memories of Blair Underwood involve watching him on LA Law in the 80s and 90s. I used to watch it with my grandma, and she loved him because she thought that he looked like Sam Cooke, the singer. Fast forward to like 2005, and I'm in my 20s, and I see him on Sex and the City. He played Miranda's boyfriend for a few episodes, and at that time, I was like, yes, this man is fine as hell. Yes, okay, grandma, I get it. Yes. And now I'm in my 30s, and as an even more mature woman, he is even hotter to me because Blair Underwood is like a grown man. He's grown man fine, you know? And it's like the older I get, the more I appreciate him. It's like my thirst gets more potent as I age. He's just so fine. I just want to watch him do stuff. Like even little things like I just want to watch him take off his watch at the end of the day. He's just a man. I love him. And he just also seems like he might be a little unassumingly filthy. Like he would take you to a black tie event, and right before you get through the door, he would whisper something like really nasty in your ear, and then you're just in your feelings and you're all hot and bothered all night, and he's just sitting there like with a straight face, like poker face filthy, right?
But Blair Underwood, yes. Blair, in the same way that Vina was kind of like, it's, you know, the older women in her family had been looking at him. That's how I was. My sister is about 7 years older than I am, and so she has been fancying Blair Underwood for a very long time.
Good on her. She has great taste.
And I saw it, but you know, like LA Law, I remember LA Law as well. LA Law, he had kind of like a process or something in his head, or
some kind of texturizer.
Yeah, some kind of texturizer or something.
Right. I never watched that little. We didn't get that in the UK until much later.
Okay, so he had some kind of like super curly, juicy looking thing happen in his hair, which is fine.
It is fine.
It did not appeal to me,
Sure.
and it
How diplomatic of you. It did not appeal to me.
I mean, you know,
yeah.
But a little later. Again, my teenage years, you know, when we're running hot.
Those are some real potent years.
Girl. The movie set it off.
Set it off.
Oh my gosh. He was
Sweet
like
Jesus.
this big wig at a bank or something like that. And he ended up having a relationship with Jada Smith's character. She was Jada Pinkett at the time. So that was like in 96. Yeah, so they get together and there is this scene, this love scene that they have, where he massages her with oils and
It's so 90s.
Oh my God! You know, the music is playing. I think it's playing In Vogue.
Yeah.
And
what's a gun? No, that wasn't that. Was
no,
it that?
Yeah, that
there
was it.
There you go. En Vogue, man.
And she had on this necklace earlier. or either he had on a necklace, something. There was a necklace involved, and he took it off and he runs it up her booty crack. I can't think of a pretty way of saying that. Listen, oh my God.
Oh God.
I mean, it's just a really sensual scene.
Yes.
And it's important to me because it was so rare to see a black couple being sensual with each other and not just kind of like wham bam sex or something like that. And so seeing that really, really just changed my life. And I was like, Blair, I'm here for you now. I have arrived. Thank you.
The bus will now be stopping at this destination. Thank you so much. Listen, so Blair Underwood for me is, like Vina said so eloquently, he's just, when she said that line about, I just want to watch him do stuff like put on his watch, like he strikes me as such a complete man that I just want to watch him. He's so, and also he's properly solid.
Yeah.
You know, she spoke about seeing him in Sex and the City, like years later. And I remember watching him when he turned up and I was like, amen.
Yeah. See, I didn't watch Sex and the City.
Oh, I did.
But I have heard from many women about his brief time on the show.
Listen. Oh my God. Like, I didn't fancy that many dudes on Sex and the City because it wasn't about them. It was very much about these 4 women, their friendship and so on. And then he came up in the final season of Sex and the City. And when he turned up, and he plays like a doctor, like a physio who works with, like, you know, I think the New York Knicks. Like, he's proper kind of like wildly successful. I love Blair Underwood so much in this because he's so relaxed. Like, they let him be like chill and fun. Like, he's not, and also he's not being Mr. Black Guy. He's a black guy. He's in the room. That's it. And I love that. Like, it's not like he's not coming in to play black. He's just playing a character who is black, and there's a difference. You know, it's not quite kind of how can we edify the race, right? You know, it's just a dude. You know, he wasn't that old at the time that he was in Sex and the City. But I remember thinking to myself, yeah, there it is. Like this is the guy that I really, really fancy. Like I was so taken by him.
Yes, Blair Underwood.
God bless you, sir.
Shout out to your face and your life.
Congrats on your life and your face. And Vina also brought us something horrible and fantastic, aka a tweet she sent about our next dude, Tony Goldwyn. Nichole, will you do the honors, please?
Sure. On February 1st, 2013, Vina Bean tweeted, I would let Tony Goldwyn put it anywhere. So Vina Bean, we knight you.
Let me get my sword.
In the realm of thirst.
Yes.
You are a knight.
You are a knight and also a dame of the realm. We
appreciate you.
We're very proud of you. Continued excellence in thirst work. Good job. Good job all around.
So I remember Tony Goldwyn from Ghost, of course.
We all do. He was bad. He was a bad man.
Bad. He was awful.
Yeah.
Like to the point where
he murdered his best friend.
Yeah. I tried to watch Ghost maybe 2 years ago, year and a half ago. And it was such a triggering thing how terrible he was, like the way he was manipulating it, and it was bad.
I mean, there is no redeeming quality to his character in that film. He's a bad man doing bad things, and the point at which like the demons appear to take him away, I was cheering. I was like, good,
yes.
Let there be no redemption for this motherfucker. Let him die.
I remember watching it in the theater and people literally cheered.
Right.
Yeah,
like, I'm so happy to see this motherfucker dead. Yeah. Like, he was a bad man.
Yeah. But, I mean, you have some strong feelings about Tony Goldwyn as well.
Listen. Tony Goldwyn has a voice that makes me fully understand what Vina said in her tweet. Because I feel like it's a voice that it could compel you to do things. You know what I mean?
Like what, Bim?
I don't know, to eat after you've swum. I don't know. You know what I mean. His voice is so deep, but it's also kind of, it's kind of thick sounding. Like it has body.
His voice is deep and thick. Then?
Shut up. No, I said it's thick sounding. It has body.
Kiss me.
Let's just go.
Look at me. We are alone. Locked doors, no cameras, you and me.
It's a full voice.
Deep.
Shut up.
Full.
Shut up.
Okay.
No. Stop dirtying up my very accurate words. My point is, I love his voice.
Kiss me, Olivia. You know you want to.
And I love him as, you know, even though Fitz is a terrible human man.
Another terrible person.
A terrible person, weak and foolish and privileged and
Yeah.
just generally awful.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yeah.
I kind of still fancy him. And part of that, of course, is down to the amazing chemistry he has with Kerry Washington. And they play these kind of, you know, stupid fucking star-crossed idiot lovers.
Right.
I hate them so much as a couple. I hate them when they're together. I hate them when they're apart. But I guess I just love Fitz. I love the idea of some dude just kind of being your, you know, your number one in that way. Even though, like I said, this is
It's
grossly...
toxic.
It's toxic. It's dysfunctional. It's terrible. But I love Tony Goldwyn.
Yeah.
So I'm here for it.
I understand. I would get caught up a little bit in the
Right.
Fitz, you know, whirlpool or whatever. I understand.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get
the
it.
currents will drag you.
Yeah.
A little bit. Next,
Yes.
we have a wonderful guest, a Miss Tracy Clayton of the amazing, the wonderful Another Round. And she's here to talk to us about one of our favorites.
My favorite.
She's going to talk to us about
Don Cheadle.
Yes. And that's coming up after the break.
Hey, Bim.
Hi, Nichole.
2018 is coming up, and I was wondering, is there any travel destination that you have in mind?
Thank you for asking, Nichole. I would absolutely love to go to Santorini.
Ooh, very gorgeous over there.
I mean, it's the white walls, it's the blue sea. I just feel like my Instagram would induce the most jealousy.
Yeah, I'm already jealous.
I know you are, I can tell. Where would you want to go in 2018?
I want to do a nice rambling tour of Italy. Like, just go taste all the wine, eat some good food, that kind of stuff.
Under the Tuscan sun.
Yes.
Nice. All right, Diane Lane. Yes. What's interesting is, if you are looking to make the most of every trip, guess where you can go?
Ooh, where?
TripAdvisor. Because TripAdvisor helps you make the most of every trip with the latest reviews and the lowest hotel prices. In fact, they check hotel prices 24/7, comparing more than 200 booking sites, including the hotel's own websites, to find the latest and the lowest on the right hotel for you. And you can save up to 30% on great hotels around the world.
And with 280 new traveler contributions posted every minute, you'll always find the latest reviews on hotels, things to do, and restaurants across the world.
And as a special deal for First Aid Kit listeners, TripAdvisor is offering an easy way to save 10% on thousands of great attractions, including tours, activities, and more. So visit tripadvisor.com/thirst and use the promo code TRIP10. Once again, that's tripadvisor.com/thirst, promo code TRIP10.
And remember, for the freshest reviews and lowest prices, make TripAdvisor the last place you look before you book. All right, Bim. So we have one of our favorite people in the studio with us today.
Yeah, we do.
And she's here. She's going to talk about one of our unanimously favorite zaddies, seasoned bays.
Yes, that's much better for me.
Seasoned bays.
I truly do not like Zaddy, but listen, this man is very much a seasoned bae. Well seasoned even.
Yes.
Am I allowed to call him a zaddy?
Yes, you can call him Zaddy.
You can call him whatever you want.
Oh.
So we have
You just tipped your head back and revealed the column
we
of your
can't
neck.
even introduce you good, and you're like,
Can I call him zaddy? I just want to know what the rules are.
yes, you can call him
Okay,
Zaddy. I
okay.
can call him
Please
Zaddy.
continue.
Yes.
Way to ruin the intro, man.
So we have friends of the podcast, Fairy Pod Mom, Tracy Clayton,
Hi, babies.
co-host of Another Round.
You want me to get you some Newports?
Do you have any?
Crown Royal. And Tracy is here. If we can get to it. Tracy is here to talk about our favorite, Don Cheadle.
Ooh, girl.
Yes. Let's go. When did you first see Don Cheadle? When did he have like a first impression on you, or leave a first impression on you, I should say?
You know what? Don Cheadle is one of those people that I just feel like has always been like with me, but I feel like I didn't really notice him for real. I also don't know if this is true at all. But Devil in a Blue Dress, when he played Mouse, Alexander.
Yes.
I love that you brought that up.
Yes.
I mean, like,
Tell
I don't
us
even
more.
Okay, first of all, the whole Easy Rollins series, written by Walter Mosley, is amazing. Like, I don't even like read anymore, but like those are books that I can like revisit.
Say that with a straight face. So listen,
It's true.
I don't read that much anymore.
My brain just it doesn't function well when it comes to like sitting down and focusing for a long amount of time. But the series is great. It's about this detective. It's like very like noir.
Yeah.
Noir.
Yeah.
Noir.
That's like a sexy yawn there. Good job. Noir.
Thank you. It takes place in like 50s Los Angeles, I think, when it starts.
Right.
40s,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And so Easy Rollins is like this makeshift detective. Eventually becomes a real detective. But he's got this crazy ass friend from down south named Mouse Alexander.
That's
and
such
Mouse
a good name, by the
is
way.
so good, and it's perfect because Mouse is described as like this itty bitty teeny tiny man, and in the book he's light skinned. Don Cheadle is not that. But they describe him as very tiny, but just fucking crazy. Like he's a murderer.
Yes.
And I think like the first time we see him in the movie, he just like busts in with a gun. He's like, "You want me to shoot this motherfucker, Ease?"
Yes.
And I'm just like, who is this man who I am both terrified of but kind of aroused by?
Okay,
Yes,
so
exactly.
let me give you
Yes.
the word for that feeling.
Ooh.
It is carousal. You're welcome. Yeah, happy to
Oh
help.
my gosh, I feel so seen. The
And
arousal that I
Wait, but do you
Arousal.
remember why the character's called Mouse? Is it like crazy as a shithouse rat in a coffee can? Is it something like that?
First of all, that's the countryest thing I've ever heard anybody say. Crazy as a shithouse rat trying to poke his way out of a brown paper bag and a coffee bean in a shithouse.
I know that y'all have heard this. You added like a whole bunch of contrast. I'm so sorry. What? I'm not from here. You see.
Like, how to get in a coffee can?
You know, he's hyped up off the coffee in the can.
No. Don't try and make this logical. You know, coffee.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Sure.
Mouse. Don Cheadle.
Mouse. I am under the impression that he was called Mouse because he was described as very small and slight. Like growing up, he was like a physically small kid. But since he is crazy as a shithouse rat in a snowstorm in July,
Freddie Jackson sipping a milkshake. Yeah.
Yes, this will keep all the southern coming.
yeah,
Okay.
that's possibly why. So,
Okay.
I was very attracted to the character Mouse in the book. And I think that made it very easy for me to be attracted to the actor who was portraying him. Not that he needed it, because have you seen his skin?
yeah.
Have you seen those teeth?
Smooth,
Ah,
velvety.
Just everything on him just glistens and glows.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I try not to call Black people various forms of chocolate because it's
Or
so
any kinds of
played.
food.
Any
Yeah.
kind of food because it's so played out. But really, you look at him and it's just like
You just
want
want
to
a bite. You just want to take a bite.
Yes, he's like a Easter bunny, a chocolate Easter bunny that you just want to like bite the ears off of.
Wow. You just want to bite the ears off?
Yes.
Just
All
like
right,
nibble.
sis.
You know?
Yes.
Just
Oh, a
like,
nibble, you
yeah,
say?
like
Wow.
several nibbles.
Do you want me
but
to leave you two alone in the studio
'Cause
for a
you-
bit?
You know what I mean?
You guys trailed off and looked to the middle distance. Wow.
Oh my God. Oh, and you know something else I love about Don Cheadle? Is he does a really good job playing characters like these, right? He does a really good job playing like Miles Davis,
Yeah.
famous jazz musician, happened to be completely nuts, still a genius. He did a really, really good job playing that role. He plays characters that if somebody was like, he's crazy, but the dick is so good, I keep fucking with him. I would be like, yeah.
That's
You know?
really it got
You
to
know
me.
what?
So that's specific.
And so that makes me feel like he got a little, you know what I'm saying, in the, I mean.
Yes,
Did you-
I agree.
Did you ever see him in that Steven Soderbergh movie? What's it called? Out of Sight?
No.
No.
That's another prime crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like even his eyes just look like they don't settle for too long.
Ooh.
He does that so well. I also wanted to talk very briefly because you guys have spoken very glowingly of his fantastic roles. There's one role that even though I love Don Cheadle with every fiber, every ventricle of my heart, I can never, ever forgive him for that terrible Cockney accent he did in Ocean's 11.
See, I didn't know it was bad.
If I see him in the street, for that accent alone, I will fight him.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
Then we gotta
Otherwise,
fight you, and then
no,
that's gonna be a whole
I
thing.
mean, my fancy stays strong, but that role tested
I get it. I do get it.
It tested it. I was just like, what? Huh? What?
Can you give us an impression of his accent the way that he
No,
did it?
because it's actually against my religion to do
Okay,
so. It's
that's
a
fair.
bad accent. It is is a bad accent. I remember all the Brits, all of us kind of going, "You what? What?" And he's bless him, he's chewing the scenery. He's happy. He's like, "Yeah, I'm killing it." And I'm like, Don, mate, what are you doing, Don?
He don't know no better. He don't know.
I mean, God bless him.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I see him, me and him are gonna fight.
All right, chaps. Hang on to your knickers.
I liked his role in the TV show House of Lies on
Never watched House of
Showtime.
Lies.
He played this character called Marty Khan, who was like this consultant, and they did all this weird, scammy stuff to get money and shit, right?
Ooh.
But
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
yeah, but he was kind of a hoe. He was a hoe.
Yeah.
In it, and when I say that, it's a good thing that he was a hoe because you got to see him naked a lot.
Ooh, now when you say naked.
I mean naked,
Like-
not frontal.
Oh, fuck me.
I mean,
That came from her guts.
I tried not to say it.
No. Listen, lean in.
But,
Okay,
like,
we're all about honesty.
his beautiful body against like white sheets and stuff.
And Don Cheadle is not some young
No,
guy.
He is
He
like
looks good. He's kept it tight.
Yeah, yes, he was firm and taut. Like he was right.
Somebody take a break.
Yes.
I need a moment.
But the thing is, like, of course, he was paired up with like a lot of white women or women of color who were like spicy white, you know, that kind of thing.
Always light-skinned.
Yeah.
Long hair, shit like that.
Yeah, nobody of his complexion that I remember.
No. I think he had a thing with Nia Long's character. Nia Long was
I
on the
love
show
Nia,
for
so that's
a second.
nice. That's great.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah, but anyway, so it was really good, and also like his character was a father of this child that was non-gender conforming and was trying to figure out his gender or their gender identity, and it was really interesting. And his character, you know, clearly was uncomfortable with it, but was supportive. Like went to the school when his child was having some issues and stuff. And I was like, why is nobody talking about this? Like this is very important for Black people to see a Black man letting his child.
Yeah. Plus, it gives you more to lust
learn
after.
Yeah.
This is so much. Like a man who is like incredibly supportive and like, a good father.
Ooh,
Yeah.
listen.
He's all about you and your pleasure and your comfort first
Tracy,
before.
girl, talk about
You
it.
know what I'm saying?
I love how your eyes have softened as you've been talking about him. Like you just look so happy. Like we're talking about your actual man.
Like this is my problem. Like, so I have like people that I'm in love with and people that I lust for. And as I'm having this conversation, I'm just like, I might be falling in love with Don Cheadle right now.
The Venn diagram
Yeah.
of that's Don Cheadle is very firmly in the middle of people you lust from, people you're actually in love with. I can see it in your face, mate. I feel like congratulating the happy couple. Honestly,
you. Oh
it
my
feels
God.
like you have also announced an engagement.
Well, I'm sure he'll be thrilled to learn about this as well. Thank
sure.
you so much.
His whole family will be so happy. Like, oh my God, Don, you got engaged.
We're registered at your local bodega.
I will bring you some cheese.
Thank you.
Anytime. I want to talk though, now that your eyes are all soft and you seem very open. We went through your tweets, Tracy.
This is a great way to get my eyes unsolved. never go through my tweets.
Your tweets, how do I put this? I've never felt more like you've bared your soul to me than when I search your name plus Don Cheadle.
I feel very seen right now. Thank
Mate, it's just out there. You're just kind of like, who's looking? Everyone, great. And then you just broadcast that shit, and it's fantastic.
you. Yeah. So I also did a search of this kind to see, what have I said about Don Cheadle in the
What
past?
haven't you said, mate?
And I was like, first of all, oh my God, I've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
Second of all, this is wildly inappropriate. All of it is just terrible.
We have a tweet from January 11th, 2015. Can you give us a dramatic reading of this tweet, please?
I mean, I haven't really warmed up yet, but I mean, I will try. Don Cheadle, you old sexy piece of dark chocolate velvety sex. Thank you.
What a word.
Thank you. We're
Yeah.
doing finger snaps. Thank you.
Now for my next selection, I would love to read an actual tweet that I quote that may have said I'd make. Oh no! I can see it on the screen, and I'm like, no. So apparently, I was going through some stuff on June 5th, 2013.
Oh, God.
Somebody needed to know that I would make popsicles with Don Cheadle's bathwater. Listen, I'm not saying that I would actually do it, but
No.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't.
That's sometimes that's the sweet spot we need to reside in. I'm not saying I would,
Right.
but I'm not saying I wouldn't. That's pretty much my whole thirsting life. I'm like,
Yeah.
lol, but also not lol.
Just kidding, unless you're gonna do it.
That is too much.
Oh my God. All right. So listen, Tracy, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh my gosh.
Tell us, even though we know where, but tell us where we can find you on the internet.
You can find me on the internet on Twitter at Brokey McPoverty.
Great name still.
Thank you. I wish it was not of adequate representation of my life right now, but you know. You can find me at Another Round. I have a podcast called Another Round.
You have a podcast called Another Round?
Oh my God, you should come and be on it one day.
Oh, just that's an
if you-
idea.
if you have
That's an
time.
idea.
Yeah.
So generous. I love it.
No problem.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm about to watch this Don Cheadle video.
My drabble today is about one guy called Jesse L. Martin. All right, let me begin. Jesse's smile always unfurls slowly, like he's unwrapping a gift. But crucially, it feels like his smile is a gift just for me. Sometimes I find myself just staring at his profile in quiet awe. My eyes drag across his face of their own volition, lingering at the silver at his temples or the silver in his beard that sits so handsomely on his jaw. His eyes are a solid Malteser brown
Okay.
and pure soul. Right now, he's standing over my table, right next to the stage, and he's whispering something to me that I can barely hear over the crowd. I lean in closer, let his lips lightly graze the shell of my ear. I shiver slightly and force myself to concentrate. I know you hate public declarations, he says, and the timbre of his voice thrills me, always. So I'm going to tell you this now. This next song is for you. And then he walks onto the stage, cups the old-fashioned mic in his big hand, and the musicians behind him begin playing the opening bars. I grin when I recognize it. I told him how much I loved Dorothy Moore on our very first date, and here he is, about to sing Misty Blue for me. His voice, rich and deep, rings out across the venue, but I know it's only for me, just like that smile of his. Oh, it's been such a long, long time, he sings, and I let myself swoon.
Bam.
Thank you.
Yo, that was sultry as fuck.
I try, bitch.
Oh, shit.
I love Jesse singing, and I thought, all right, because so many of my drabbles are domestic.
Yes.
Because I just enjoy a man who does housework, clearly.
Yes.
I just do some dishes,
Yes.
bitch. Like, just every so often, sort the laundry.
Yeah.
But something about Jesse, it had to be out there. It had to be public, but not too public. You know, it's like a smoky jazz club, which suits his face and his persona. And, you know, he is a Broadway star.
Right, yeah.
So why not?
yeah.
Yeah, so that's my drabble for this week.
Let him be a hound for you.
Just
I
let
get it.
him.
Yes.
Let him.
Yes.
All right, so I want to hear all about yours now.
Oh my goodness.
Who are you writing your again, your face has gone quite red.
Ooh, okay, yes. So my drabble is about Don Cheadle.
Of course it is. And I'm better ice.
And there is a slightly public element to it as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do you mean public in like the wholesome way or public in a dirty? Oh, okay. Your pause has told me all I need to know. I for one am shocked. I would never have thought you would write such a thing. By all means, please tell us.
Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to get started.
Sure.
Don said we weren't going to stay at the party long, but we've been here an hour longer than I would have liked. He's across the room, talking to a small group of friends, holding court. His smile is mischievous as he tells a joke, hoping someone is clever enough to anticipate the punchline, but he knows they won't. As the crowd erupts with laughter, he looks up and catches my eye. He excuses himself and walks toward me, taking in my dress, the shine of my bare legs. His gaze lingers across my toes, their red polish competing with the gleam in his eyes.
Oh, God.
Someone steps into his path trying to get his attention, but they see the focused look on Don's face, the way he's honing in on me, and they move.
Oh, God.
When he reaches me, Don takes the glass of champagne from my hand and asks me to follow him. We wind past the crowd, up some stairs, away from small talk and polite laughter. The music fades as Don pulls me into a private bathroom and settles me against the counter. His face has gone smooth with desire, and my pulse drops low in my belly. You smell so good, he nuzzles into my neck as his hands work my dress up over my thighs. The marble beneath me is cold, and I shiver despite the warmth radiating from the palms of his hands, the front of his slacks that I've worked open without even realizing it. He kisses me as our movements become more frantic, but we stop as some guests walk by, laughing.
Jesus Christi.
He pulls away a little bit, his clothes in disarray, my lipstick a trophy against the velvet of his skin. Will you be quiet, he asks. I don't know. Will you?
All right, so listen. For the listeners at home, I want you to know that at some point during Nicole's drabble, I put my lips around the straw and I drank until my glass was empty. And it wasn't enough. Fucking hell, mate.
I love me some Don Cheadle, man.
Do you?
Oh, my gosh.
Fucking hell. You better cool your brow. Look at you. You're sweating.
Oh, man.
I'm sweating too, bruv.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
Wow. Is it?
Our listeners know what to do.
Do they?
Yes, they're going to vote.
Fucking hell, man. I want to vote for you. Jesus. I mean,
my mascara's on my cheeks.
Well, it's got to go somewhere. I can't, like, I'm out here putting out, like, you know, fucking PG-12 and PG-13. You're just kind of like, fuck a PG.
Listen.
Here's a party. Here's a marble countertop. Here's some warmth from someone's hands on my hips. Bitch, how? Anyway, guys, listen.
Yes.
As I've mentioned before, in a way, it doesn't matter who wins. Because technically, we all win.
We all win, and we love doing this for you. We love reading the drabbles you send in to us. It's all good.
Yeah, so vote for your favorite drabble. So that can be me and Jesse L. Martin in a jazz club, or it could be Nichole and Don Cheadle in a bathroom. Wow, I never thought I would say that. So those are your options. But again, as Nichole said, we love reading your drabbles. Please send us your drabbles at firstaidkit@buzzfeed.com, and we'll put up a poll for the Fanfic Wars voting on our Twitter, which is also First Aid Kit. First Aid Kit is produced by Julia Frelan, Eleanor Kagan, and Agaranesh Ashagre.
Our music is by Tanya Morgan.
Please follow the show on Twitter at First Aid Kit and find us on Tumblr at firstaidkitpodcast.tumblr.com.
Don't forget to leave us a message if you require the services of the Thirst Sommeliers. You can call 765-884-4778. That's 765-8-THIRST. So we don't have an international number, but please feel free to email us at thirstaidkit@buzzfeed.com.
And you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Bimadew, that's BIMADEW. And Nichole is at TN Whiskey Woman, that's TN Whiskey with an E Woman.
And please do us a huge favor. If you like us, go to Apple Podcasts and drop a review. This helps other people find us and let us know that we're doing something that you like. Also, feel free to live tweet your listening sessions using the hashtag TACPOD. That's TAKPOD. We love seeing your reactions.
Oh, they're so great.